What is going on, warriors and farmers of Tamaris? I am back again with the updated ultimate guide for Mr. Waldyr in the Call of Dragons. The game has been out for quite some time, and today we're gonna find out if Mr. Waldyr is worthy of a spot in your 5-match roster for the open field. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. Turn on that bell notification and never miss out. Like the video, share it with your friends, leave some comments down below. Let's get the video started. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Season T1. The game developers have added 2 brand new magic heroes and a lot of people have started benching their Waldyr. I personally think that is a big mistake. Like right now, everybody is just using Bertrand with the Velen. They have forgotten the true value that Waldyr offers in the open field. Today we're gonna see if this hero is still worthy of a spot in your roster. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff as usual. We're gonna check out the talent tree, we're gonna check out the skills, and we're gonna check out some war pets and everything that you need to know about this awesome epic hero that we have in the Call of Dragons. Starting off with the rage skill, we have the Ice Breath. Deals damage to the targets and 3 nearby legions. Inflicts gloom and freeze for 3 seconds. This is one of the coolest rage skill available in the game. It does 700 damage factor to 4 different targets. Nothing beats this, guys. This is awesome for an epic hero. Now when you combine all this damage factor, it is kind of like 2800 damage factor. It is just insane. It also puts gloom. The enemy gets -20% attack for 3 seconds. It doesn't get better than that. It also has a freeze mechanism, -20%. Now when you get this freeze mechanism, you can put this awesome legendary hero behind. We have Mr. Velen. So we have Velen right here. He has a cool awakening skill which says when casting a rage skill on a target that is frozen, Velen deals additional damage and removes the target's frozen effect. Now when we go back to Mr. Waldyr over here, he's gonna freeze the target and give Velen that extra damage boost. So this is one of the coolest heroes that we have in the game. Probably one of the best rage skill you will ever find in the game right now. Moving on to the second skill known as the Royal Court Mage. All magic units in Waldyr's Legion gains 10% magic attack and 10% HP. Look at that. You have a powerful attack and you have some great survivability, which is awesome. Skill number 3 known as the Frostbite. Waldyr's Legion deals 15% more hero skill damage. It doesn't get better than this, guys. 15% damage boost for this 700 skill damage factor to 3 different targets. I mean to 4 different targets. This is some good stuff. And the good thing is this damage factor does not have the diffused nonsense that we have here. Take a look at Lilia. 1200 damage factor to 3 targets, but it has a diffused damage. Each legion takes 15% less damage per additional target, up to a maximum of 50%. Now when it comes to Mr. Waldyr, every single enemy takes the 700 damage factor. 4 different targets, 2800 damage factor. It is just awesome. Moving on to skill number 4, the Icy Veins. When Waldyr takes hero skill damage, his legion receives a shield that can absorb a large amount of damage. Shield factor 600. This effect can be triggered once per 20 seconds. Again, you have a shield to protect you from counter attack and taking lots of damage. This is for great survivability in the open field. And when you go to the rage skill, he just gives you the 4th target and then he increases the damage by 100. If you don't have him awakened, your rage skill will be like deals damage to the target and 2 nearby legions, inflicts gloom for 2 seconds, damage factor only 600. When you awaken, you get 700 and you get another additional target. One of the heroes that you should never ever leave behind. I don't think it is time to bench this guy in the Call of Dragon. Maybe when they introduce the Season 3 mages, only then will you be able to maybe bench this guy. And I still think he is still gonna be valuable when Season 3 mages show up in the game. Let us check out a comparison between Mr. Waldyr and the new addition that we have here, Mr. Bertrand. So many players right now have started using 5-1-1 Bertrand instead of an Awakened Waldyr. All I can say is you are making a terrible mistake. Awakened Waldyr is gonna give you a lot of value. His rage skill alone is just ridiculous. 700 damage factor to 4 different targets with all these debuffs. You don't want to miss out on that. On top of that, you got this 15% skill damage boost, and you have 10% attack and 10% magic unit HP. It is way better than a 5-1-1 Bertrand. Now this Bertrand is going to give you 1300 damage factor. A second skill that's kind of very complicated right now, only works well with Tohar. And then the third skill, you are going to get 10% magic attack, which Waldyr can give you. And then you're going to get defense penetration of 4%. I would rather take the 10% HP for Mr. Waldyr. And then when it comes to the fourth skill, it might not even work when someone is targeting you in the open field. So you should not be replacing your Waldyr with a 5-1-1-1 Bertrand. Now on the contrary, a 5-1-1 Velen can do better than an Awakened Waldyr. And then you have a 5-1-1 Lilia who can also do better than an Awakened Waldyr. Because this Lilia is going to hit 2 targets and she's going to scorch them, make them take 200 damage factor for 5 seconds, which is just insane. The real queen of the open field. So the final verdict is you should not replace your Waldyr with your 5-1-1 Bertrand. It is just not good enough. It doesn't add up. Maybe later on down the road when you upgrade this guy to some higher level, then you can replace him. Or maybe if you're fighting someone in a 1 versus 1 situation. Otherwise, I'm keeping this Waldyr on my roster until Generation 3 Magic Heroes enter the game. What are some of the best pairings for Mr. Waldyr in the Call of Dragons? The first one is obviously gonna be Mr. Velen. You go Waldyr Primary and Velen Deputy. Waldyr is gonna put a freeze on the enemy and Velen is gonna come in, do his rage skill damage and then do this additional 400 damage factor. It is the perfect synergy. You don't want to break these two heroes. And then you have Waldyr who can trigger the Boiling Blood from the talent tree. You got this Boiling Blood which gives you 8% more damage for the deputy hero when they cast a rage skill. So this is the best pairing for Waldyr in the Call of Dragons. Now the second best pairing behind this is going to be when you have Lilia as a deputy. Again, Lilia is going to take advantage of the Boiling Blood from Waldyr. And then the third best pairing is going to be Waldyr Primary and Bertrand as a deputy. If you manage to awaken this guy, you can boost this 1500 damage factor with the Boiling Blood from Waldyr. When it comes to Tohar, I don't know if this is going to work well. Something still needs to be done about this channeling. But if you're free to play and you don't have a lot of resources for legendary heroes, I would go Waldyr Primary and then Aethias Secondary. Aethias gonna bring this rage accumulation, extra rage gained 60 with a 30% chance to trigger, which is awesome. You can also put Alwyn as a deputy, but I think Waldyr and Aethias is gonna be a much better combination. You can also try Waldyr Primary and Thea as a deputy. Now Thea has been found out to be an excellent hero, so I think she can do well behind Waldyr in the open field. Not so great, but she can be okay. You can also try Husk if you decided to go that route. Not very good, but okay for the open field. And then we also have Indies. You can put Indies behind Waldyr as a support march if you decide to go with only legendary heroes. So this could work quite well in the open field. But overall, the best pairing for Waldyr is going to be Waldyr Primary and Velen Deputy. And then Waldyr or Lilia as the second best pairing. And then Waldyr or Bertrand as the third best pairing in the game. When it comes to war pets, there is one war pet that really works well with almost all the magic troop types in the game. That war pet is the Sapphire Frederick. Now the Sapphire Frederick is going to do damage to 2 different targets with a nasty damage factor you don't want to miss out. This is the war pet that you use for Waldyr. On top of that, you can put this ability known as the Forceful Pain Bloom. It says each time you inflict Scorch, Freeze or Ensnare on one enemy legions, Pain Bloom deals more damage the next time it is cast. So Waldyr is gonna put a freeze on the enemy, and Velen also is gonna put a freeze on the enemy, which is just awesome. It's like the perfect combination. So this is the #1 war pet that you use for your Waldyr with Velen in the open field, or Waldyr with Lilia, Waldyr with Aethias, Waldyr with Bertrand. This is still the way to go. Now you have other options as well if you want to go in a different route. After this Sapphire Frederick, the second one I would consider would be the Shadow Frederick. It's going to do some damage and it's going to give you another captive debuff, making you do even more damage with your legions. And then you have the third option, which is the Thunder Lizard, a nice single target damage. The Ice Lizard would have been the best for this pairing. Unfortunately, this lizard is gonna slow your legion down by 2 seconds. It's gonna slow the rage skill of your heroes by 2 seconds, so you might want to stay away from this. You also have one more option, which is the Venomous Lizard. Not the Venomous Lizard. You need the Sand Lizard. It's gonna provide some healing. Can be quite useful for some magic units in the open field, especially if you're gonna be rocking 3 or 4 magic units. You can heal them with the Venomous Lizard, who is very close to all those marches. So these are the war pets that I would use for Mr. Waldyr. The number 1 is the Sapphire Frederick. That's about it. Capture a 1-star and you are good to go. There are so many amazing artifacts in Call of Dragons at this stage of the game. Let us check some of them out, the best ones you can use for Mr. Waldyr. Now the first one on the list is probably going to be the Phoenix Eye. You can get this one from the regular compendium. You use this with your Waldyr and Velen. You have other options for other marches as well. If you're using Lilia as a deputy, you can go with the Infernal Flame. It has a passive ability that can give Lilia more damage. You have another good artifact here known as the Mirage Orb. If you decide to use Bertrand as a deputy, this is the artifact that you use with the pairing. There are other excellent artifacts that you can use in the game. You have the Tear of the Airborne. It is okay. It has defensive capabilities. It can make you last for a long time in the open field. You can also try this HP artifact, although it is not recommended. We also have the Universal Fang of the Ashkari. It's a good one to use as well. There are other cool epic artifacts you can use for Mr. Waldyr in the open field. The most common one is the Magic Bomb. It's gonna give you some kind of attack, which is great for the open field. The game developers have also added brand new artifacts in the Forge of Light. I was fortunate enough to unlock one. This one is known as the Lakeside Rhapsody. It's gonna do diffuse damage to up to 2 enemy legions in a designated circle. It also has an additional effect. Deals additional damage whenever you inflict Scorch, Freeze or End Snare upon the target legion. Can be triggered once every 30 seconds. So when you freeze somebody with your Waldyr, you are gonna get additional damage from this artifact, which is just great. We also have one more option here known as the Breath of the Yargantis. So this is gonna give you some kind of debuff to your enemy. Reduce their defense, 10 targets for 20 seconds. It is just awesome. So these are the artifacts that you can use on Mr. Waldyr. Obviously, the most common one is going to be the Phoenix Eye. You can get this from the regular compendium. Use it on your Waldyr and Berlin. The last topic of the video is going to be about the talent tree that you can use for Mr. Waldyr in the Call of Dragons. The game has been out for quite some time now and people have found out what is the best talent tree to use with this hero. So let's go to the talents and see what we have on the table. So this is the talent tree that you use for Waldyr in the Call of Dragons. It has been tested by multiple people and this is everything that people use so far. Starting off with the foundational talent, you go with attack, you go with march speed, you get the HP. You get this mighty power which gives you 10% chance to gain 20 extra rage. And then when you go in the magic talent tree branch, you get the magic HP. Here is where things start to get interesting. If you're using Berlin as a deputy, you're gonna go with Foresight. Berlin already has 20% march speed. Therefore, you're going to get 75 rage with a 25% chance every time you cast a rage skill. On the contrary, if you're using Waldyr and somebody else that is not Velen or Atheas, you are gonna take this magic speed, 15% magic speed, and you might have to get rid of this one because you don't have any march speed on your hero. As of right now, this skill is good if you have Velen Deputy, you have Atheas Deputy, and you have maybe Thea Deputy if you decide to use her. Otherwise, you're gonna pick the march speed instead. On to the next node, you have Intimidation. Your Legion deals 4% more hero skill damage. On this node here, things start to get interesting. You can either go with the Magic Maelstrom, which is going to help you in a 1v1 situation and group fights as well. It only targets one individual. Or you can go with the Energy Boost. 8% chance to add an additional target to rage skill that deal damage to multiple targets. And since you will be rocking Waldyr Primary and Velen Deputy, Energy Boost is something that you might want to take. In my case, I decided to go with the Magic Maelstrom because if I decide to fight someone in a 1v1 situation, this is going to apply. We come over to the other side of the skills talent tree. The first one is the overall attack. You grab that, you get another Intimidation, get 4% more rage skill damage. You have the head held high. Launching a normal attack has a 10% chance to grant your Legion 50 rage, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then we have one of the most coolest skills of the skill talent tree, which is the Boiling Blood. When casting rage skills, your Legion's Deputy deals 8% more damage the next time they cast a rage skill. Velen is gonna take advantage of this skill. Lilia as a Deputy will take advantage. Bertrand as a Deputy will take advantage. And Aethias as well as a Deputy can take advantage of this skill. Now the Spirit of Rage is also great. It will give you 20 rage for each hero every time you cast a rage skill. So every rage skill cycle you will get 40 rage. It can be quite useful. So just interchange between the two and see which one works best for you. On to the next node, we have Detached. Your Legion deals 4% less normal attack damage but 8% more hero skill damage. Since you're using Waldyr and Velen, you're mostly all about skill damage. When you reduce your normal attack by 4%, that's not going to harm you because mages have the weakest normal attack in the game, probably. So we go over here, you have Unquenchable Will. It's something you can take if you're not compelled by Detached. But at this point of the game, people have tested this ability out. It is the one that they go for. And then you have Focus. When launching a normal attack, your Legion has a 10% chance to gain Hero Skill Focus, increasing their Hero Skill crit rate by 10% for 5 seconds. So this is going to increase your crit rate for your rage skill. Velen has a rage skill, Waldyr has a rage skill. Velen brings another 10% crit rate. It combines with this one for a 20% crit rate. You will be doing a lot of crit skill damages. The next node just increases your skill crit damage by 15%, exactly what you are looking for. When it comes to the final node, you can go with the Caged Animal or you can go with the Thirst for Blood. Thirst for Blood says, when casting a rage skill, your Legion deals additional hero skill damage to the target Legion. Damage factor 60. So it's 60 maybe 2 times with every hero, I think. And then you can either go with the Caged Animal. Every time your Legion casts a rage skill, they deal 0.5% more hero skill damage up to a maximum of 8%. This effect lasts until battle ends. So this is going to be for a long fight. This is going to be for quick short fights. So you decide which one works best for you. Whichever one you pick is magnificent. They all work great. Some players use Thirst for Blood. Others use Caged Animals. This is the talent tree that a lot of players are using in the open field right now. Of course, some players try to ignore the magic talent tree and instead they go full skills and then half PvP. So this is what their talent tree would look like. They would grab this overall attack. They would take this march speed. Some would go with Fury Flame to get 5% more hero skill damage, while others will go with head held high. And then over here, they just grab the Army of Valor. So this is something you can try if you decide to go this route. Now getting back to our first talent tree, which is something you can use, which is what you see on the screen here. Once you do everything, you're going to have 1 talent point left. You can put that here on Steady Hands if you want, or you can put it anywhere. It's going to be up to you. You can try and get more march speed. You're going to have to decide where you want to put that skill. In terms of the magic talent tree, it has been proven to be not so effective for doing damage in the open field. It can give you some good survivability, but when it comes to damage, it is not that great. So we have talked about everything over here. Now when you come over here, you're gonna pick the egoism. Your legion takes 0.8% less hero skill damage, can go to 4% less skill damage, making you last long in the field. And then you also have the wither. When your legion takes skill damage, they have a 50% chance to inflict magic defense break on the target legion, reducing their magic defense by 5%, I believe, at level 5. And then here you have two skills that you can use. The Cry Havoc. When the target legion's unit count is less than 50%, your legion deal 7.5% more hero skill damage. So this one only works when the enemy is below 50%. And then Insult to Injury works with heroes that have continuous damage. Lilia Scorch and I think Tohar Channeling might work with this as well. When you get to the end, you're going to go with the Iconoclasm. When your legion is composed entirely of magic units, you deal 2% more hero skill damage for 10 seconds. Every time you gain a buff effect, up to 10%. So if you're using Mr. Bertrand, this would be something you want to take because of the compound interest. You're going to get a lot of buffs. So this shield can also give you a buff, I believe. So this is the way you can build up your magic talent tree. In terms of the PvP, everything is good all the way up to this point. Now beyond this point, the skills are not too impressive. You could go with the counter attack. You could grab strength to strength. Your legion deals 0.3% more damage. And then here, when your legion is in the field and their unit count is less than 50%, they deal 0.6% more damage. Thing is, most of the time, you are going to be refreshing before you hit 50%. So I don't really see the importance of the PvP talent tree. It's okay, but I think you can get better value on the skill talent tree. So you go full skills and then either half PvP or half magic. And that's it for the video, guys. This is the guide for Mr. Waldyr. To do a quick summary, do not use a 5-1-1-1 Bertrand over your awakened Waldyr in a group fight. You're gonna miss out on a lot. This guy still has a lot to offer. Until we get season 3 mages, I'm going to keep him on my roster. So when I bring my marches, I have Lilia and Thea, I have Waldyr and Velin, and then I have Bertrand and Tohar. That's how I run my mages. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you're new, subscribe for more content. Until then, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye for now.